Live.
Streaming.
Upcoming, scheduled for 9:25 at 3:35. That's now.
Yes, okay.
All right. Let me click it on and see what happens. Live. Yep, we're there. Okay, perfect.
Oh,
Let me turn the sound off of that. Or let me just
don't
let me
show this again.
sound off.
You can set YouTube. All right. Okay. All right.
All right, everybody ready?
Yep,
Dr.
as
Pat,
ready as ever.
you ready? You look busy. You look with
Me?
no. Dr. Pat's got a consternation on his face.
All right.
We're everything's we're
I'll-
going to okay.
Okay.
All right, welcome everybody to our 5th episode of our LifeWave Lifestyles. Dr. Pat, myself, and today we have a wonderful, exciting guest for you, Chris Kroll, who's got me involved in LifeWave. And welcome, Chris. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Glad to be.
So tell us how you got into Lightwave, what got you to Lightwave, and what was the results of you using your patches?
I've been patching about a little over a year now. I had a nurse friend and we happened to be in a mutual meeting together and we got to be friends chatting, and I have had issues with Lyme's for, honestly, I'm not exactly sure how long, probably since around 2010, but didn't realize that's what it was until about 2020 when I actually found out a doctor tested me and said that's what I had, Lyme's and Babesia. So with that, you're fatigued a lot. You got a lot of brain fog. So she just said, I have something that might help you.
Wow.
And the rest is kind of history. So my journey in LifeWave, I'm not a one patch wonder. I am hold the course, stay the line, and you'll see the manifestation of what you want.
Wow.
So over I split it, it's probably been about 15 months. All my fatigue is gone. But through that, I've also discovered that I had heavy metal toxicity, and limes and heavy metal do not like each other in the body anyway. So they react they cause other issues. So I've addressed that. And then because of LifeWave, I've met a naturopath, and he helped discovered that I had a parasite. So, but the limes was totally gone. It didn't show up. Heavy metals was not really an issue. So I'm addressing the last piece. So one of these days I'll be squeaky clean. But in the
Wait.
meantime, I have no more fatigue. I used to wake up and sleep, maybe 3, 4 times a night. Almost always had some kind of pain, which was, I didn't say, was a residual from a being hit by a semi,
Mhm.
and so it gives you a sideways whiplash.
Wow.
So all of those things just kind of compounded. And with the limes being, it kind of settles, likes to set limes and babesia likes to settle in your neck and your shoulders. So that's where I had the major issue with the whiplash. So I've just been peeling back the onion skin for the last 14 months. So fatigue is gone, brain fog is gone. I really don't have any of the aches and pains that I used to have. I still have some neck issues, but it could take 18 months for your neck to be restored if you have pinched nerves and everything. So I'm just waiting for that to leave. But in the meantime, life is back being enjoyable.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
That's amazing.
Are you just taking the X39 or using any other patches, Chris?
When I started, all I started with was X39 because I really didn't realize there were others. And the gal that introduced me to it, she didn't stress anything else, which was fun. So I started on X39, but I quickly got into glutathione and Aeon because I realized, well, number one, I need to detox. Number two, I had a lot of inflammation, which I knew was, after you sit in some of the trainings enough, you start learning what they all do. So that's what I did. So I went from one patch to probably within a month adding in both glutathione and Aeon. So I had some detox issues when I started using the glutathione. I had so that would have been last summer. I had some detox issues last fall. I'm not quite sure what that was, and it could have been when I added carnosine, because I didn't do carnosine right away, but I had done 49 earlier on because we were going on a cruise and flying, and I wanted the Faraday cage and all the protection from the EMF that the 49 gives you. So because I didn't really record it. So I just know that October, November-ish time period, I had some detox. Once I started doing the heavy metals, which would have been after the first of the year, that was really okay. Because I think a lot of them had gone out in probably November and December. And so I had a heavy metal test in December. And by the time March came around, the numbers had already started dropping. So glutathione was helping me a lot already. Um, so, and when I did an AO scan this summer. And that's when the heavy metals were not really showing up anymore. There was no Lyme's, no Babesia. So just this little parasite that I'm dealing with now. So someday I'll be squeaky clean.
So 14 months is when you started to feel the fatigue gone.
Oh no, heck, fatigue. No, when I was detoxing, I really haven't had fatigue since last summer, because I was fine when we went on our cruise. And that's when you're traveling. And that would have been last August that we went on the cruise. So the fatigue left fairly quickly. My sleep did not change right away. So I'm not quite sure how the two of them, because when you don't get, I don't know I don't know when I went from 3 and 4 times a night being awake to not. I can't answer that question, but I
You
would
were
be
asleep.
up 3 or 4 times a night.
You were asleep. How would you know?
Well, I didn't write it down. You're awake and you don't sleep and you're tired, but that changed on me relatively quickly. The
So
fatigue and the
when,
brain fog left quickly.
so when did you start? Around January of last year?
No, I started patching the end of June,
The end of,
a year ago. So June 30th was when I
and the,
started patching a year
so
ago. So
yeah,
that's probably 15 months, because this
yeah.
is the end of September.
And then you felt the fatigue go away after like 5 or 6 months.
No, fatigue went away relatively quickly. I
Oh,
now
okay.
my detox issues, I don't know, I've been through enough detox. It wasn't the same as you just kind of feel crappy with the detox. I've had detox. I used a Beamer once. That
Mhm.
was horrible. I
Yeah.
was in bed for a whole Labor Day weekend with that one year. But and that was a bad detox. When these detoxes were you just didn't feel yourself. I mean, I
Right.
wasn't really fatigued. It was just like, I guess maybe I don't feel like doing anything today, so I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And you were drinking enough water at that time, I guess.
well, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so important.
You never totally know.
Yeah.
I mean, drank a lot of water before, and I have added water in. I mean, after I started, and Dr. Stacy will say do the salt. So I
Right.
have done Celtic salt pretty much all along too. So
Yeah, I've been putting Himalayan salt in there. It
Okay,
makes
I
it
have that, and sometimes I use that too.
Good.
that makes a
Very
difference.
good. That's very good.
Dr. Pat, you have
So
any?
all in all, I say that I'm 1,000% better than I was last summer. And I'm still checking things off. So my major issues I have checked off, which is the fatigue, constant pain, not being able to sleep. Those I've checked off.
Mhm.
So now it's just those little irritating things like my neck being bothering sometimes. So
Yeah, I think so because when you first set this up for us, you said you were not a one patch wonder, but after
I'm
two or
not,
but if your fatigue went away after a very short time.
well, the fatigue left, but it took a while for some of the rest of them. So
Sure. Oh yeah.
and fatigue for me was being down. I guess I could be, but it's. I mean, we went on our cruise last August, and I was not wiped out on that. So
That's
maybe I was, just didn't think. I mean, because the fatigue for me was if I went, I could have one day good. Oh, I remember when we were RVing, I'd have one day good and I'd go hiking and whatever else I need to do. And then I'd have 3 days that you'd just be wiped out. So that part left relatively quickly. I just didn't have some of um the detox. Then you just feel a little. But I'd never have the days where I go have one good day and then 3 or 4 bad days. I used to mark on my calendar. This was a good day, and then that not negative, or how many hours were good in that because I just always felt so bad. So
so you got your life back, like you said.
yes, I basically got my life back, and I guess I didn't consider myself a one patch wonder, and I guess because I'm just still slowly checking things off, you
Yeah.
know. So so maybe I should say no, I wasn't. I don't consider myself a one patch wonder like some people. Mine was
Right.
at least 2 months. So
That's still pretty good,
yeah,
considering.
yeah. So
Yeah,
anyway,
I find every month it's almost like a marker, even after 2 months of being only using X39.
hmm
Good, I tried patch here or there, and it was too much for me. So I just said,
hmm
I'm doing the X39. And then after 2 months, something just the coin dropped in the slot, and I said, all right, let's try some of these others now.
hmm
And I've played around with a few of them, and now I'm trying some new ones, and so it's remarkable. It's
yeah,
remarkable.
yeah. And I probably used in August. I was using more of them. I didn't start using Elevata until maybe Christmas time. Didn't start using the skincare until spring sometime. So I really didn't use energy enhancers very much, and I'm not quite sure why. I don't know. I really didn't use energy enhancers very much. And then I didn't use Ice Wave very much because Ice Wave didn't seem to work for me. So I didn't use that because
Yeah,
it was more of almost like a whole body. Well, my whole body ached. So,
yeah, fun. Yeah, for that I found the Eon works better.
right. So I still use
That
Aeon all the time. Yeah.
decreases inflammation in the body.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. We all have inflammation
Yep.
to
Yep.
various degrees. And
Yes.
the other thing
Right.
I wanted to mention was that on a day-to-day basis, well, for me, I didn't see any change. On a day-to-day basis, the changes can be very, very subtle that you don't realize.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look back 2 months, 3 months earlier and say, oh, I feel a lot better. That doesn't bother me anymore. You just don't realize it. That's why
Yep.
we have the health tracker, which is very good. This is a sheet that you should fill out periodically, and it tracks your progress. And we also recommend people to take a picture of their face when they first start out, and then every so often take another picture and see any major changes. And this tracks the quality of sleep, mental clarity, energy, and a whole bunch of other things mentally. And then physically, it's pain, inflammation, headaches, mood swings, age spots, scars, wrinkles, things of that sort. And so you fill it out for the before, and 24 hours later, 7 days later, 14 days later, 21 days later, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, up to 3 months. And by that time, you should notice some change.
Yeah.
But the changes will continue to improve. And a lot of things that you may be thinking you want to have change or improved, but then you'll notice that you had another problem that you didn't even think about, and that's gone, or that's
Yeah.
a lot better. And but like I said, the change of it can be very subtle, so you have to have some time. And I think the older you get, sometimes the changes occur a lot slower. So you have patience.
The gradual one, I hurt my shoulder, I don't know, probably in the spring of 2020. And I just couldn't sleep on that side. And I was always slept on my left side. But one night in February, I rolled over to my side and to look at the clock or something. I thought, oh, my shoulder doesn't hurt. I have no idea when it went away because, if you don't sleep on your left side, why do I know? All I know is about 7 months in is when it changed. And it's like, wonderful.
And what patches were you using at that time?
Probably the same ones, X39, 49 Aeon. I was probably using glutathione. I used carnosine. The only ones I really didn't use a lot was energy and ice wave because I didn't think they were really working for me. Ice wave never took care of any of the aches and pains that I had just for me. So I don't know if it's because I didn't know how to use them, but or I needed to use 2 sets. And most of my issues would come at night. So it would always disturb my sleep. So
Chris, I wonder if you could tell us the difference between X39 and X49. Some people get a little confused with the two.
Okay. X39 activates stem cells in your body. We have what's after we pass 20, our stem cells really start slowing down. So by the time we're 30, we only have a few of them, half of them maybe, and by the time we're 60, and since I'm past 60, you maybe had 10% of them. So the X39 is a tool that sends a light signal to your body, and it tells peptide GHK to activate and start renewing, waking up stem cells that were not working before, so that you feel better, you look better, your organs function better, you have less fatigue. X49 comes alongside and it helps with muscle mass, stamina, it helps with some brain and heart functions. And it also acts, when we went on the cruise, I wanted that Faraday cage protection from all the EMF that's in an airplane and on a cruise ship. So that's with, so I swim a lot in the mornings. And so I know that actually I probably noticed that relatively quickly that my swimming was stronger. I felt better when I got done swimming because I started using X49, and that was sometime in the fall. No, it had to have been in August. It had to have been in August because we went on the cruise ship. I didn't write my time frame down because it never occurred to me. But yeah, because we went on the cruise in mid-August. And so I would have started that. I figured I needed to start it ahead of time. So you had some of it, if it built up in your body. I didn't know. I thought, well, I wanted to start it, at least use it a couple weeks ahead of time. So I probably started using that the early August. And I noticed that my swimming was better when I was using the X49 last summer. So that's stamina and strength.
That's great.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that question. I hadn't connected that. So,
Very interesting. You mentioned the Faraday cage. Well, that is what an electric car is. Electric vehicles are really Faraday
mhm,
cages because of all those batteries.
yeah, it's interesting. And I probably said it today because I was visiting with a gal today, and she simply wanted the X49 patch because they were going to be flying, and she's very sensitive to EMF.
Mm,
And she said just using the X49 did help her, which I found I honestly I didn't know if it would work, but she said she felt it really did. She was less sensitive when she ended up being in places.
That's really,
She was in New Mexico, and she said there are lots of 5G towers around. She
yes.
had a hard time, I think, going into Albuquerque in the past, and so she said it really helped her being able to go into places that before she had issues going into. Her parents live in New Mexico. So
that's good information.
yeah. So it helped her being very sensitive to EMFs.
Yeah. Well, EMF is all around us.
Right.
5G, we're exposed to it constantly.
Yep.
Uh,
And
You
it's
know,
only getting worse.
it's
So
also very useful for patients that have had radiation therapy or exposed to radiation, any kinds of radiation. It helps
mhm.
dampen the effects of the radiation, which is very good.
Now, could you wear the patch when you're taking radiation treatments? Would you recommend doing that?
I don't think that'd be a problem. It depends where it is. I
Okay.
would say if you're receiving radiation to your chest, you don't want to put a patch on your chest. If you put it on
Right.
your ankle or foot, that would be okay.
I never thought about that either, but yeah,
But you
that's-
could put it on right after you have the treatment and leave it
that's true. Yeah.
for hours.
Right.
or
Right.
if you go to the dentist and you're getting x-rays, you could wear the patch anywhere below your shoulders, I suppose.
Good idea. Yeah.
And then,
Hmm.
they say after you get like whatever you get in your mouth, like mercury or stuff taken out or anything like that,
Mhm.
you use charcoal. But I bet if you put patches on at night, like glutathione patches on both sides of your cheeks, that would help detoxify it too. Maybe
Probably.
but the liver, all the toxins eventually wind up in the lymph or the liver, I guess.
Right. Which is why I wear the glutathione, not every day, but pretty close to it, probably 3, 4 times a week anyway.
Hey,
Yeah.
Chris, there's a lot of the young people today, they're called in the holistic or spiritual worlds light workers
Uh-huh.
or empaths, and hypersensitive, as helpful as they can be to tune into higher consciousness for people. They're
Oh,
bombarded with their being emotional. They need to be more open to get these messages, if you will. But at the same time, the EMFs and the anger and all that, it's rough on them. And when you're talking about the X49, I'm thinking this might be a great patch for ADD, and those time ADHD and
mhm.
autism, because though a lot of those people are on the autism spectrum are also are empathic or light wave, and I think that whole range of young people might find a whole new use for it for their own spiritual.
Interesting. This gal, I would say you're saying some of the things that she does.
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of think I'm not 100% just what she was sharing today. So being so, and I otherwise, I don't know how you become so sensitive to it, but she might flow in that. I'll have
Today
to ask her next time.
I'm just, as we're talking about this, because I'm empathic in doing light work, and we've had a few holidays, the full moon eclipse, and in August there was an event, and each on those events I'm getting more and more deeper connections in my meditations and
Oh,
insights.
uh-huh.
And and the last few mediumship readings that I've given and intuitive readings, it's just it's like it's more easier and better than ever before. And I was chalking it up to all these events that I've been that the world is waking up. It's getting lighter. But I
Mhm.
also wondering now that we're having to talk about X-49, I wonder if that's not helping clearing stuff out.
Hmm. Could be.
So
You'll have to test it some more and let me know.
I will.
Hmm. I know this gal, I put X39 and Aeon on her, and she felt it right away because
Yeah,
she'd had a car accident about 10 years ago, and like a traumatic brain injury. And she recognized, she felt the energy flowing in her body
yeah.
right away using those. And the next time I put Ice Wave on her to see if she had a headache, I don't remember what she had, but I used Ice Wave on her. And she felt that right away too. So,
I think this is because I'm quite sensitive, and from the moment I put on a patch, I feel energy working in some way or another. And one of the women that joined, I know, is a chiropractor and very sensitive. And she, even her husband, who's not sensitive, they both felt they're on vacation. They go, "Whoa, we have energy to do stuff."
mhm,
So I think that's a
interesting.
whole new. If anybody's listening and your children are empathic, intuitive, or on this spectrum, we can't make any claims, but um, it's something to consider trying.
Right. Very
And I
good.
just say now that we're talking about it, this is only for entertainment and educational purposes that what we're talking about. Dr. Conte is a medical doctor, but he's not your doctor, and Chris and I are not medical doctors. So anything you hear today, check it out with whoever you go to see for your wellness. And any last words, Chris? We've really our whole half hour zipped right by here.
No, no, I thank you guys for having me. It's I've found LifeWave and the patching to be, I've had benefits, but it's a joy when witness other people like you guys hearing that you've had changes, hearing that Dr. Pat's wife had changes. Those just make you want to share more. So
Thank
it's
you.
just so exciting and encouraging to have something to share with people that can be life changing for them. So it's
Yes,
good
indeed.
you guys are doing this. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Dr. Pat, anything last words?
The other thing I want to say is that there are so many conditions and diseases and problems that we experience in life. Uh, I remember when I started my pathology rotation, I had to buy a pathology book. It was that thick, and it was tough getting through it. It was kind of frightening. But really, what I want to say is that we're still learning what the patches can do. There are so many conditions out there that we don't know if it's going to do anything for these conditions, but more than likely they will, but we can't make any definite claims. But it's certainly worthwhile trying the patches.
Hmm.
I think everybody be surprised with the experience. So
You're right.
the comment.
Chris, so one of the places that I post these videos is LinkedIn. And I get more than any other social media outlet. I get 20, 30, 40, 50 views of that.
Wow.
I haven't had anybody contact me yet. What would you say to they're mostly professionals in LinkedIn?
Hmm.
What would you say to people they're enjoying the show, they find it fascinating? Anything you might say to them to take the next step to explore this?
Um, if you have a busy workday, it'll help you handle your busy workday better. It'll give you more energy. It'll help you think more clearly. It'll help you respond more clearly. I hear that all the time from people. It'll help you be more relaxed. If you're going into a meeting, it helps you be more prepared when you go in. just because you're thinking and responding in a whole different way when your body is balanced and the way it used to be when you were younger. So yes, it's absolutely worth trying.
Super. Great. Well, thanks again,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Pat. Thanks again, Chris. Thanks, Dr. Pat.
Thank you.
And until our next episode, wish you all health, wealth, and joy, joy, joy.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. You want to turn off the recordings, Dr. Pat, and then we could talk a little bit? That was some a lot of ideas popped up with that conversation.
Yeah.
You could stop the live stream on YouTube also. Yeah, there was a lot of interesting uses that I had not even thought of before.
Ah, like which one?
The empath